Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Madison and welcome back to the next video of Youth Project Ministries. Thank y'all for watching. I appreciate all the support. Today we're going to be speaking about focusing on Jesus. So a lot of us, we're going to have bad situations that come into our lives, but we have to decide to allow it or not to allow it to consume our life. Because they're going to come, they're going to hit you till you are on the ground, till you are on the floor bleeding basically. And that's life, that is going to happen. So I'm going to read from Matthew 14. Immediately Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from the land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. So the second that Peter saw and realized the fear, the waves, the wind, the storm itself, he got scared. He lost his sight on Christ. He looked away and he sunk. And when he walked on water, he was still in a storm. When he was still on top, he was still in a storm. And things were still going on. But it wasn't until Peter took his sight off of Christ, off of Jesus, that he sunk. This gives us a representation that 1, Jesus is going to be there in the storm. 2, that even when Jesus is in the storm, you are going to have major storms. Things are still going to be going on. And 3, when we take our eyes off Christ, we are going to fall, we are going to sink. Which is why so many of us today are stuck at the bottom of the ocean. We are in a situation where we're focused on the situation itself and not on Christ. We're trying to get out of something, trying to move from something, but we're sitting here saying, "I don't want to do this. I'm in this. Get me out of this. Get me out." But you're so focused on not doing it that you're in it. And a pastor of mine said, as we seek God, he takes us through the storms, but also sustains us in the good seasons and the shore. Through everything, he's there. He's sustaining us. He's walking with us. It's just the point, are we going to humble ourselves to get up and walk with Christ? And Jesus was still there when Peter sank. Like, think about it. You are in a situation right now. You feel you're at the bottom of the ocean, and you might be, but Jesus is still there. He's just waiting for you to humble yourself and say, "Lord, save me. I need you." And for you to reach out your hand, and he's going to grab you, just like he did to Peter. And Jesus didn't let Peter drown. He did not allow him to. As much as we feel we are at the bottom of the ocean, that we are sunk, that we are sitting at the bottom, he's not going to let you drown. The second you put your eyes back on Jesus, he's going to pull you up. He's going to grab a hold of your hand. You just have to decide, are you going to humble yourself and stick your hand out? So think about it. Humble yourself. Stick your hand out. Jesus is going to be there. And, we're in a situation of depression, anxiety, lust, the being not good enough, stuck on something happened from another person. But if we're so focused on that little thing, just staring down at it, we're not going to get through it. It's like setting out a piece of chocolate cake in front of my face and just staring at it saying, "Don't eat it, don't eat it, don't eat it." Eventually you're going to give in, and eventually you're going to eat it because you're just so focused on not doing it. So whatever it is, know this: you have to pick your head up. You have to get up, and you have to move and put your eyes on Jesus. And in doing so, you're going to walk on water. And you might look away, and you might fall back down, and you might sink to the bottom. But just humble yourself, stick your hand out, and Jesus is going to grab you and pull you back up, and you're going to keep going. Matthew 6:33, it says, "But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." It says right there, put your eyes on him, and Christ is going to give you what you need. He's going to give you what you need. And that's a very important factor. And I said in my recent video that if you He's going to give you what you need, not what we think we need. And so put your eyes focused on him, and he's going to use you. He's going to pull you through. And as many times as we start to drown, he's going to be there waiting for you to humble yourself to get back up. So here's my question today. Are you going to allow your past to consume you, or are you going to use it to define you? And here's what I'm trying to say is, are you going to let it consume you, hold you back, trap you in this corner, trap you here, letting you be stuck? Or are you going to say, no, I'm going to use it to define me. I'm going to use it to define me for God's purpose, because God takes the messiest things and turns it into the cleanest things. God will use the dirtiest, worst, most broken people to do the biggest things for him. It's the same thing. Every disciple, all the disciples, they were not perfect. They were going through stuff. They were struggling. But Jesus chose them. He chose them to be a disciple. Same thing as us. Same thing as me. As much as I go through things, I'm broken. I'm being shredded apart. I know Jesus is there. Jesus is there for me, and he's going to use you the exact same way. Listen to me. I'm standing here as broken, as ripped apart as every human being. I'm not better than anybody else, but I'm here as an example to you that as much as you were ripped apart, as much as you feel not good enough, as much as you feel that you were just worthless, he's going to use you. He uses the worst, most imperfectious things to do the best things for his purpose. I'm that example. I'm not even close to perfect. I'm just another guy who loves Jesus, and he knows that he's there. Just remember, Jesus loves you. Don't forget. Please remember this question. Are you going to allow it to consume you, or are you going to use it to define you? That's my question today. Thank y'all for watching. Jesus loves you. Hey guys, thank y'all for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button, or if you feel that somebody else needs to hear it, hit the share button, send it out to them. Jesus loves you.